One of the funny things that happens to Lois and I is when we're going someplace and we're going in one car. And sometimes Lois is driving because she likes to drive her Sienna van, especially up and down the mountain. And sometimes I'm driving to save gas mileage because I drive a Camry. And nevertheless, inevitably, if we were going someplace, Lois will say something like, I would have gone the other way, or I would have taken that parking space. And inevitably, when Lois is not driving and I'm driving, she'll say that you should have turned here or you should have turned there, and vice versa. So one of our comebacks to each other is a pretty regular one, and that is, who's driving? In other words, you're not driving, I'm going to go my way, I'm going to take my parking space, whatever I see that I want. And so it's become kind of a joke. We both laugh about it. It's not anything we fight about, but we just remind each other who's driving. It's the driver's choice, which way they go and what parking space they take. It reminded me of a problem that Job had, that maybe all of us as Christians have. When we question God, we wonder why he did something a certain way, why he didn't do a certain thing. Does he know what he's doing? And we question God about a lot of things, don't we? God, do you know what you're doing? God, do you understand what's happening here? God, do you understand what I want? Well, God really responds to Job the way I'm sure he probably would respond to us if we could hear him speak. And sometimes he speaks to us in an audible way, and sometimes he speaks to us much louder than that. But nevertheless, it brings us over to Job 38, verses 1 through 4. This is how the Lord answered Job. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind, and he said, Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Words without knowledge. That's what we do sometimes to God, isn't it? We give him words without knowledge. Now gird up your loins like a man, and I'll ask you, and you instruct me. God says, okay, get ready, big boy. Gird up your loins, and I'll ask you a few questions. And he starts out in verse 4 by saying, Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if I have understanding. Or if you have understanding. Where were you when God created the heavens and the earth? And he goes on for about a chapter and a half of telling Job all the things that he's done. And he says, Who are you to instruct me? In other words, who's driving, Job? You or me? I love it. He's our pilot, not our co-pilot. And finally, over in chapter 40, verses 1 and 2, Then the Lord said to Job, Will the fault finder contend with the Almighty? Let him who reproves God answer it. And now remember, there's a chapter and a half of things to answer there about all that God has done. But Job, unlike some of us, comes to his senses. Listen to what he says in chapter 40, verses 3 and 4. Then Job answered the Lord and said, Behold, I am insignificant. What can I reply to you? I lay my hands on my mouth. Maybe that's the word from God for you today. Lay your hands on your mouth. Don't question God. God's driving. I love it. I just absolutely love it. I guess we all need to do it sometimes. Just remind ourselves that God's the one that's driving. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.